Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, I had a bit of a tired week, you could say. I just did not have the head for fighting with systems and for eating my broccoli kind of work. And so I was like, you know what, I think I'm just going to implement guns all week for the future and just to do that. So I decided to pick a category, a firearm, that has some in it, but not as many as there should be, especially in the modern category, which is shotguns. And so I thought I would give you a bit of a preview of some of the shotguns that are going to be added over the next couple updates, especially because the fact that some of them are about sort of filling out new subcategories or required some new code work. So let's start with the simplest stuff, which is sort of filling out some user requests. A number of you have been asking for some shorties that have this type of handle, more of the pirate handle. So this is a short pump. I'm trying to remember. I think I called this the T14 Custom in game. Rack that. Obviously, this is more of an aftermarket slide. I found this one and thought, man, this looks so sweet. So obviously, without a stock, a little more difficult to aim. Then again, this is more of a fire from the hip kind of shotgun. Well, at least most of those didn't hit the ceiling. Slowly getting better at that hip firing. So yeah, gonna have a couple in this form factor. I've got a semi-auto one as well. In addition to that, I've seen a couple requests over the past couple months for like an M2 or an M3, and so I decided to put one in here that's more of a sport pattern with this type of sight. Just look at that one. That is just, so this is good. This is the M2 Field. Note that you don't see the carrier moving on this. And one of the reasons for that is a lot of you know, like the carriers that I've had on these shotguns for a while sort of have this like wibbly springiness to them. And that was just how I implemented that like 3 years ago or so. And it just recently occurred to me how stupid that is. And so I'm in the process of actually like recoding the way those work visually in proximity to like a shell in your hand or something like that. So expect that as an improvement in the near future. Wonderful. Throw that in there. This is a beaut. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Oh, such a handsome one. So, moving on to some of the more unconventional ones, let's take a look at one that required an entire new class be coded for it. This is a 612 with some wood furniture. It's this incredibly compact bullpup revolving shotgun. This basically functions like a double action revolver, but because the cylinder is removable, I had to code a completely new class of shotgun for this to function, because we have a removable cylinder here, and the cylinder this is technically, as far as the game's code is concerned, a speed loader. And so we can dump shells out of it, insert them back in independently and in any order, like so. There we go. Pop that in here. I am still working on the collision, as you can see, because I gotta just jam it in there. I had this working. I had this working yesterday, and then I must have messed something up or changed a collider value. Either way, pop that off a safe. And because of the fact this is a double action revolving shotgun, like there's no bolt moving forward and back here, so this will fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. Wham! Wonderful. Whoop. Grab you. Go. There we go. Wonderful. Let's see. Can we fire that any faster? Let's do this fast on the draw as we can. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I could probably do better, but so there you have it. So this is a new class. As you can see, they even come out as empties. I had to no thing that contains ammo that's removable could actually hold empties, so I had to make that work and actually make them pop out as empties. Whap. So that is there, and then the last one that I want to show you folks today is I would call this a conflicted work in progress. I know this is a shotgun that a lot of folks have requested over the years, and that is the KSG. Now, the problem that this presents for H3's gun systems is that a firearm can only have a single magazine in H3. This is built all the way down to the core of the game. If I were to change this, it'd be months of rework to be able to change this. I would have to change literally everything that touched magazines in the game. It would be horrendous. And so I spent a bunch of time this weekend trying to think if there was a compromise, a way around this that I could do to make this work. You know what? Before we get to that though, I think I want to decorate this a little bit. This is one of I'll admit I didn't do this beforehand because I had always looked at pictures of the KSG and was like, I don't really get it. It doesn't look that neat, sort of thing. And I don't know, in game, in my hand, I think it looks a lot cooler than it did in pictures. There we go. Let's pop a... Yeah, the moment you put a bunch of furniture on this, I think it looks way cooler. Very Deus Ex in certain ways. Anyway, so if for those who are not familiar, the way a KSG works is that there are actually 2 magazine tubes in here that we can flip between. The center position prevents either from being loaded from. It allows you to directly load into the chamber. And so what I've essentially done right now, and I'm not 100% done with this, is I've actually given there are 2 magazines in this that think they're attached to the gun, but the gun only sees one of those magazines at a time, and this manual switch here is actually switching between them. This does mean a couple game systems cannot see anything but the active magazines. So things like the ammo panel that auto-load a firearm for you will only load the active magazine of this. Same thing with the take and hold ammo thing, and same with the vault. And that's a problem, at least for now, that I can't really work around, or just I'm not going to invest the time to. But I am more than happy enough to give you this firearm with a few asterisks. So yeah, go like that. So we're empty. So let's say we wanted to load a single swag shell. We could flip this over into the middle setting, rack this handle back, pop that right there into the chamber, close this, and then set that up to continue loading from the right mag. That's a fantastic sound. So yeah, so there you have it. It's as I said, there's some compromises, but with a whole bunch of things that are in that category of like, this is theoretically doable, but not really worth the work. I've been trying to find ways that drastically collapse the amount of work that it takes to do some strange corner case, because firearms are full of design corner cases and odd ones out to try to make them realized. So I hope you folks enjoy this one, and I gotta say, I think I get it now. I really think I do. Anywho, let's jump out of VR now and talk about what's coming next week, as I hope to be ending this alpha cycle with next week's release. Yo! So, as I said, looking to finally finish Update 90's alpha cycle next week. Basically, what I'm going to be working on over the next week is putting some final finishing touches now that things have largely stabilized with the new features. And so that's adding a few more options in the options panel. I have heard you, by the way, folks, who are like, I really like the slide bolting more than quick bolting. I would really like to be able to use that anywhere, especially folks who say are left-handed, found that it made that weapon set dramatically more usable for them, which totally makes sense to me. So I'm totally willing to allow that. It'll be off by default for anything except for bipoding, but there'll be an option in the firearms options to allow for that. So yeah. But beyond that, I'm going to be adding some more targets for the paper target, bringing it into the sniper range, adding the category system for selecting which target you want. I want to try to finish my sort of second rev that I'm working on for the gravity grabbing, for selection in the gloves. And yeah, and that's about it in sort of getting that out onto the main branch. And part of the reason for that, and it's one of the reasons why I've the other thing I've been working in parallel, is I got some fun stuff coming for you folks for the 4th of July. Or rather, if I look at the calendar, it will technically be the 3rd of July, because that's where the Friday is, but it's for 4th of July weekend. It's very conveniently situated this year. So I wanted to make sure that I could get back onto the main branch next week, so that's the 26th, so that I can do an Update 91 on the main branch for 4th of July and have some goofy and explosive things for you folks. So yeah, so that's about it for this week. I hope you're excited to play with shotguns and other future toys. Honestly, it was kind of like, it was restorative to just work on just like, forget systems, forget, more complex content work. I just want to implement some firearms. I've been doing it for so long now. It's sort of, it shouldn't be relaxing, but it is. It's about as familiar as anything is to work on, and it's such a known problem space for me. So it was a pleasant way to spend the week while still getting something productive done. So, and of course I've got some more. I'll just put it this way: you folks are going to be getting a lot of shotguns over the month of July. So, including some rare ones, some cool historical ones, some strange ones. It's going to be fun. So, anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.